Paul George finally made his way back to Indiana. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeat the Indiana Pacers 195. Paul George had 4 turnovers. He finished with 12 points. He didn't play well at all. And that's kind of the crux of the situation. It's just like, this wasn't even any real beef like LeBron going back to Cleveland, when he was in Miami, or, when Kevin Durant played against the Oklahoma City Thunder and he, had to hear the boos and everything like that. This was light. Like, Paul George did what he was supposed to do. He went to the team. He let them know, I'm not coming back next year, or I don't think there's a possibility I'm not coming back. What you're supposed to do, give them a heads up. It's like giving a 2 weeks notice if you're, parallel to work. If you're working a 9 to 5, you give it 2 weeks notice. There's nothing wrong about that. He gets traded. It was a trade. It's not like, he had a no trade clause and et cetera, like Carmelo Anthony. They traded him wherever they wanted to trade him. Boom. And, for the fans to react the way that they reacted was really weak, in my opinion, and also proves why he left, because Indiana has a great basketball culture, but the fans, for some reason, they're just not there mentally. And then, Paul George isn't there mentally either. Like, you would think they're booing you, they're talking all smack about you, you didn't want to stay. One guy had a sign saying, you wanted a better team, but we wanted a better leader. And there's some merit to that because when Paul George had Wes, Hibbert, Lance Stevenson, he couldn't lead those guys. And he was the best player on that team, but couldn't lead them. The leader was like David West at that point. When all those guys left, exited, it was Paul George's time to step up. He didn't do it. But for Paul George to come up so weak and be so, you could tell he was emotionally rattled. He had like 4 turnovers, which is weird turnovers. It just didn't make any sense for him to play so poorly in a situation which warranted for him to drop 50. And that's where it kind of draws the line for me with Paul George. Is like, Paul George is a great player, but he just doesn't do it for me. He's not what I would call a top-tier superstar level player. He's a star player, but to me he's not a superstar player because when things get tough or he has to face a certain level of competition or step up so a certain way, he just doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. And it's sad, but it is what it is. And this is kind of the whole situation that's going down in OKC where I would say Westbrook has the potential to step up and be the guy. But when you look at Melo and Paul George, they have another gear that their clutch is just not allowing them to get to. And that's their issue. That's why people, they say they don't do it for Carmelo, and Paul George just doesn't do it for me. In an environment that hostile, you need to come out gangbusters and have an attitude about everything that you do. And he just came up timid, and that just doesn't do it for me. James, played against Lonzo Ball, dropped a triple-double. He had some kind words, or whatever he said to Lonzo Ball. He had some words for Lonzo Ball after the game. It was almost heartfelt, but LeBron said he could relate to Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball's not relate to LeBron with all the hype and everything like that. And my advice to Lonzo Ball and the whole baller brand and the whole situation that's going on here, for Lonzo, when all these people are like feeling sorry for him, or they can feel for him or whatever, why are you feeling sorry for him? He's in the exact position he wanted to be. He wanted to play for the Lakers. He skipped workouts with like the Celtics, all these other teams. His dad hyped him up, which when you want to come to the NBA, you want to come into the NBA with a lot of hype because you want people looking at you, watching your games. You want to be known. He has his own shoe company. He is where every kid in the game wants to be. Not only monetary-wise, career-wise, but family-wise. He has his mom, his dad, his brothers that come to his games. It's like, why are you guys feeling so sorry for him? I think Lonzo is feeding into feeling sorry for him. So I think Lonzo, the number one piece of advice that anybody can give him is don't feel sorry for yourself. Just step your game up. The problem is not everything that's going off on the court. Like, people are like confused. They're like, well, we asked LeVar Ball to tone it down. The Lakers did. And they're like, LeVar Ball is talking all that smack about his son, et cetera, et cetera. Who doesn't talk smack about these players? You still have players today, Scottie Pippen the other day, saying that he believes that LeBron James has already surpassed Michael. That's chatter. That's chatter. And that's not even LeBron's dad, his biological dad. That's somebody else that don't even really know LeBron. Just watch him play. People talk smack about players all the time. Last year in the NBA Finals, Paul Pierce said that Kevin Durant was the best player in the NBA, creating chatter around everything like that. So LeVar Ball can't focus on what's going on off the court. It's on the court. Like, he almost had a triple-double the other night. 13 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, like 8 rebounds. But then at the end of the day, the play on the court has to get better. Your shooting percentage has to go up from 33%. You got to get it to the 45, 50 range. Your three-point percentage has to go up. Just get better. Don't worry about – everybody's worried about the wrong things. And that's what kind of, like, kills it for me with LeVar Ball, because it's like, oh, LeBron James, he can relate to LeVar. LeBron didn't have his dad coming in the league. LeBron only had the support of his mom. LeBron had his agents and all these vultures around him, trying to hype him up or whatever, because they saw the gravy train coming. But this is a completely different situation in my estimation, because LeVar is just pumping his son up, and people are paying more attention to LeVar than his son. Now, if everybody if they want to fix this whole mix-up, just stop letting his dad come to the games. And he could talk to ESPN, some other time or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Be like, or have him in the skybox. This way, he's not a distraction on the court. But, like, or stop interviewing him. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think anything his dad is doing is really doing anything anymore, because he already put a target on his back, getting him into the league. Now he's in the league, and, Patrick Beverly went at him. Initially I felt like, okay, yeah, his dad is really hurting him. His dad is doing this or whatever. But, dude, it's like 26 games in. Like, his dad can't be the story anymore. The story has to be Lonzo. Has to be what he's doing on the court. And what I see he's doing on the court, he's a willing passer. He's somewhat of a solid defender. But he's still, like, learning the game. He's still gaining confidence. I think, basically, he's just focus on himself. Like, just focus on what's going on in the game. Like, when it comes to questions about his dad, like he's been doing, just ignore it. Questions about pressure and all stuff. Like, the media is basically hyping this kid up so bad that he's feeding into the pressures of his dad, the pressures of the media, pressures of Magic Johnson saying, he believes in this kid, et cetera, et cetera. Like, whether somebody called you a bum or a trash back in the day, it didn't matter, because, the play speaks for itself. But today, in a situation where kids, what they do is they make mixtapes, they hype themselves up, they push the brand. They push the brand so much they forget about basketball. With Lonzo Ball, I want him to focus on the basketball. It's like Happy Gilmore when he got back to his happy place. You saw when he was in his happy place, his golf was immaculate, because he was focusing on golf, not on everything around him, not on shooter, not on paying his grandmother's rent. Right now, Lonzo Ball is focusing on his dad. He's focusing on his sneaker deal. He's focusing on his brother and, his whole situation in China. He's focused on his brother being pulled out of UCLA. He's focused on so many different things that's not basketball. And you can tell, because when he's on the court, he looks like he's playing scared, or he's playing like he's holding back. And we all know from what we saw at UCLA, he has another gear he could aspire to. Like, he's just playing so timid. In the situation we're playing for the Lakers, that's another situation where the organization is a great organization, a crazy organization, but there's a lot of pressure to play there. It's like playing in New York. So when we see all of that occurring, he's feeding into all the pressure. He's not going back to his happy place of playing on the court. The court is supposed to be a safe haven, a place to get away from all the pressures, but the pressures are feeding into his game. You can see where he's very timid. He's a very timid player, and I don't know if he's trying to, fit in with the guys, but you don't need to fit in. If you're that good, you don't need to fit in. Like, when LeBron came into the league, he didn't fit in. You know what I'm saying? He showed guys, like, I'm the man, I'm the king, or whatever. He was balling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ricky Davis is like, yeah, we're going to have to figure out a way to fit LeBron James. No, you have to fit in with LeBron James because he's a great player, and that's what a great player should do. Like, he's letting his greatness get swallowed up by his brand, and it should be the other way around. The greatness should overshadow any kind of brand, and then it should empower the brand. He came into the NBA based on hype, because when you look at his game in UCLA and how he was playing, he was a solid player, but he wasn't like, in my opinion, like top 10 or top 3 draft pick to be like going crazy over. So his dad hyped him up. Say he's gonna play for the Lakers. Everybody people started, or media outlets started feeding into everything like that. Okay, he gets drafted, and now he's left holding the bag of he's better than Matt. He's better than Curry. He's better than this. He should just be like, you know what? I don't know what my dad is talking about. I'm just here to play ball. That's it. You know what I'm saying? He should basically, honestly, his family, they can show up to a game here or there, but he shouldn't be having them at every single game. Because basically now you're promoting the big baller brand instead of promoting the Lakers. Promote the Lakers first. Get good with your team. Get good with playing the game. Get good at executing the game first before you start hyping all this stuff up. Like, and that's the difference between, I feel like, him and LeBron. Like, LeBron James, when he came in, you know, he won state championships. He came in doozing on dudes. First game, I think he almost had a triple-double. He had like 30 points or 25 points. First game, almost had a triple-double or whatever. And from then on, he continued to elevate his game. Like, just elevate your game. Don't focus on all the off-court things. You can see it. It's affecting him tremendously. He needs to have a heart-to-heart with his dad. Like, Dad, I need you to shut up, because you're hurting me. Like, you're making our brand go up. You're making our views go up on social media and stuff like that. But you're hurting the platform that I'm supposed to be excelling at. And that's what you came into the NBA on. You came in the NBA not to be a social media star. You came into the NBA to be a baller, not a big baller brand, whatever. A baller, an NBA basketball player. There's only 400 in the game, in the whole entire world, and it's a privilege to be there. So he has to take it in stride. He has to get back to basketball, not back to, you know, Twitter and, you know, my brother got arrested and all this other stuff. Like, it's just so much drama. Like, and it's unfolding. And I think that whatever LeBron told him was basically just focus on your game. Like, because as you get older, you start seeing where the craft is more important than anything else. That's kind of why Kyrie got out of Cleveland, because he was like, basically, my craft is like, it's being overshadowed by, is LeBron leaving? It became a shit show. And Lonzo Ball is smack dab in the eye of a storm of a shit show. And he needs to correct that. So hopefully, you know, he can get his family to just stay in the back, man. Stay in the back till it's your turn. Till it's your turn to play. You know, LiAngelo and all you other guys, till it's y'all turn. Let me do my thing. You can come to my games, but we have to put you in the skybox. So we're going to have to put you somewhere in the back. You chilling. Like, you can't be courtside anymore. You can't be doing interviews anymore, because it bothers him. It bothers him. You could tell it bothers him when people are talking bad about his parents, his dad, his parenting style. It's bothering him. That's why he's playing so tight on the court. It's not the game. Like, you could tell, like, sometimes when he's playing, like, this kid, he can ball sometimes. But then when you're looking at all the highlights and the media outlets, the coverage of him, it's getting to him, and he needs to block himself from that. And that's just the bottom line. This is Vlad Hoops Junction with Hoops Meets Hoopla. Peace.